Okay. Alright, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
Good, okay, so I went over what we talked about last time. We just did the diet recall, and so I entered in all your information onto a super tracker, and so that just kind of totaled your calories and all your vitamin intakes and all that. So just reviewing all that, let's see. So I just wanted to go over a lot of strengths I saw on your diet, just from the recall we did. Okay, so I saw that you did 3 meals, so I thought that was really great. It's good to eat regularly throughout the day. You also drank fluids with each meal, which was really good, getting all your fluids in there. And you're very physically active, which is really good for your body. And the minimum is 50 minutes per week, and you're well above that, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, as far as nutrients go, you were really great on your protein, your carbohydrates, your fats, cholesterol, all those were at perfect levels. You had accurate intakes of iron and phosphorus and selenium, and your vitamin B6 and B12 were great as well. So
Very well.
doing pretty good.
Nice.
Okay, and so I picked out a couple topics that we could talk about today, depending on which one you want to learn more about or just that you would like to discuss today. So I've written them down here. Just with I wrote down fruits, vegetables, dietary fiber, vitamin C, and daily calories.
Okay.
Okay, so as far as those go, the fruits, actually, let's rewind a little bit. Before we get there, I just wanted to ask you, like, how typical of a day you thought that previous recall was. And you had the pancakes, and you had the pizza pocket, and the chicken tacos at night, so just in general.
I would say a typical day is actually probably more than what I stated on our last session. That was kind of a light eating day for me.
Okay.
Not the average per se. I've been trying to focus on my calorie intake and eating as much as I can in a healthy way to build up body mass.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I'd say that was probably a light eating day.
Light day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything, any foods that you would normally eat that you didn't, or any foods that you ate that you normally wouldn't, or how does?
I can tell you, I find myself a couple times a week having donuts for breakfast. That isn't the healthiest option, but it does happen. That day I did not, but that was probably the more regular breakfast I have in the mornings is donuts.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Is that just?
That's about it. Yeah, everything else is pretty normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we can move on to this. So I just wanted to ask you that before we got going.
Okay.
So just as far as your fruits, vegetables, and your fiber and all this. So when I looked over your recall and then the reports I got, the nutrition reports, it just shows that you're a little low on fruits. You're supposed to get around 2.5 cups a day, and you ate 0. And then for vitamin C, it's 90 milligrams a day, and that was at 12 milligrams. And vegetables, it's around 4 cups per day for someone your size, and you eat about half a cup. And then just the calories, to maintain your weight on average is about 3,000 calories a day.
Okay.
And you consumed around 1,700, 1,722. And then on fiber, this is the just recommendations.
Right.
So 38 grams a day, and then you consumed about 8 grams.
Okay.
So these are just topics that I thought we might be able to discuss today. And then I also left one blank. If there's something else you'd like to discuss that I didn't write down, or?
You know, I'm kind of noticing, and this may be my own personal opinion, but I have kind of a high sugar intake with my diet, and I'm not entirely sure what my intake should be for somebody my age and weight. So that's something we can discuss if you have any knowledge on it.
Okay. All right. Let me actually need to grab. I did not get the sugar intake stuff. I do have it in the other room. Let me check my notes. So, I will be right back. Let me go grab. I just want to see what the daily requirement.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So let me. I have it on. Here. Sorry.
It's okay. Sorry to throw you off.
That's fine. Just should have looked at more things here. Let's see. Okay. So this shows that your added sugars was over. Okay. So let's see, added sugars. It says are like less than 300 calories a day, and you consumed about 395. So I mean, it's not too far over, but it is a little over.
Yeah.
And then let's check it out over here. Okay, so this shows there's no daily target or limit on this, but it says you ate about 102 grams. So.
Okay.
All right. So about the sugar, usually they say, okay. So how do you think you could be able to decrease your sugar in your diet?
Well, I'm sure I could use a little more water in my diet. I kind of fancy Arizona green tea more than I should.
Okay. So you feel. Rosewood, come on. All right. So you feel that replacing your sugary drinks with water might help decrease your sugar?
Yeah, and a healthier breakfast. I'm sure the donuts aren't helping either with my sugar intake. That's just something I started noticing on labels and whatnot, and what I've been drinking. I've got a pretty high sugar intake. Like I said, that was a light day for eating, so sometimes I'll have 2 cans of Arizona in a day, sometimes maybe even a little more.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say drinking more water is a good start for me.
Okay.
And maybe limiting my sweets for the morning and all that.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more why it's important to have lower sugar in your diet?
Well, to be honest, I've got a couple friends that are my age that are entering pre-diabetic stages, and it's kind of scaring me a little bit because we have similar diets.
Okay.
And I know everybody's different, but I feel like I should keep myself as healthy as I can for myself and other people. So I'm starting to be more conscious of my sugar intake, my fat intake, cholesterol, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. So you're feeling concerned that you might be developing, or in the future you could develop diabetes if you keep high on your sugar intake. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little more about what harms or what concerns you have about high sugar? Any other information you've heard or?
Not necessarily, other than you know, I did a little reading on the internet as far as these Arizona teas that I drink, and they say drinking 1 a day is bad enough for your body, let alone 2 to 3 that I will sometimes consume.
Okay.
So it opened my eyes a little bit to my actual consumption, you know, not just being blind to what I'm putting in my body.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of becoming slowly more aware of, you know, not necessarily just sugar, but all the other things that you need to keep in moderation.
Okay. Yeah. What specifically did it say, or have you heard about the harms on your body, or just in general?
No, just kind of in general. No, I don't have too much information on, you know, symptom-wise. Okay. But that's probably something I should read up on as well.
Okay. Just what I've read on nutrition websites. Would you like to hear any information? Okay.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they say it can increase inflammation, and you're right, with the diabetes, it can increase your chances for diabetes. And that's all I know off the top of my head. I would have to research a little more.
Not to mention tooth decay is a great contributor.
Okay. Okay. Let's see here. as far as sugar goes, you're looking to cut back on your sugar.
Yes.
You have a few friends that are pre-diabetic. You don't want that happening to you.
Yes.
You've also read some things that just overall shows you sugar's not that great on your body.
Yeah, it shed a little light on the scenario for me.
Mm-hmm. And so you're looking at just alternatives or different ways to decrease your sugar.
Right.
Okay. All right. So there's this ruler, a ruler of importance, and it just shows on a scale of 1 to 10 how important this change is for you.
Okay.
So 0 would mean you're not very concerned about sugar being in your diet.
Right.
10 is you're very concerned.
Right.
You want to do something about it right away. So
I would give it as high as an 8 because I still do enjoy my sugar, as I'm sure everyone does.
Right.
But I believe that I do consume way too much of it. So I have a great concern for me cutting back, but at the same time, I still want to partake every so often. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's see. So you're wanting to cut back, not cut it out completely,
Right.
but you do want to enjoy your sugar, just not as much as you do now. Okay. So let's see. How do you think you would be able to try to make these changes in your life?
Find the willpower to bring water with me to work instead of sweet sugary drinks.
Okay.
Grab a piece of fruit instead of a donut in the morning.
Okay.
Just, small steps like that will add together and benefit me greatly.
Okay.
That's my plan.
Okay. Sounds good. So, when you think about having an Arizona tea or something sugary, they call those triggers. And so, when you in what ways do you think you can overcome your triggers and act or do something differently?
Well, it's gotten to the point where I drink so much of this tea that it really goes down like water for me. The flavor isn't much there like it used to be, and I think that's because I consume so much of it.
Okay.
So I think trigger-wise, if I get the urge to go buy one, I just have to remind myself that I don't need it,
Okay.
and it will probably taste a lot better if I drink less of it.
Okay. Right. Okay.
So that's basically where I stand.
All right. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Good reflection. So let's see here, and they also say it's helpful if you think of like a consequence, either good or bad. So those days when you're really wanting that Arizona and you're like, you know what, I want to do good for myself, I want to drink water. You do that, you buy your water. In what ways do you think you could reward yourself?
I think the reward of feeling healthier in itself is enough for me. Even though I may not necessarily physically feel it at that time, it's in my mind and I know my body feels a lot better with water in it than it does sugar.
Okay.
So that in itself is rewarding to me.
Okay. Yeah, that's really great. I'm hearing that you're really care about your health and feeling healthy, and that's really, really good to hear.
Yeah.
So, all right. So it sounds like you are aware of your choices that you make when you go into the store.
Yes.
And you're wanting to just make that for sure decision that you're going to buy water more often. Okay, so would you like to try to put this into a goal and something that we can kind of stick with?
Yeah.
With your plan? Okay.
Absolutely.
So there's what they call a SMART goal. So SMART, S stands for specific, M is measurable, A is achievable, R realistic, and T is time limited.
Okay.
So this is just steps with how you can kind of keep track, and you have it a little bit listed. So specifically, this is what, where, when would you like to start drinking or consuming less sugar?
Well, prior to this session, I have been doing a little bit of my own cutting back. But you have opened my eyes to this a little bit more since I sat down with you here. So as far as my schedule goes, I tend to start my sugar intake right in the morning, breakfast time. I think that can be cut out with water and maybe something savory other than sweet.
Okay.
Eggs, something like that.
Okay.
And I think the importance of this is pretty urgent because I have a 2-year-old son now that I'm going to be his dad for the rest of his life, so I need to be around for that.
Right. Very important. Your son's very important to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask a little more specific. So instead of drinking your Arizona or eating other foods, so you did mention you're going to replace it with water. And instead of a donut or something, you'd rather replace it with a healthier sweet, like a fruit.
Right.
What other beverages or other foods might help you?
Might help me in staying away from the sugar. You know, the frozen food, the processed food, stuff like that would probably deter me from the other unhealthier things, like the Arizona tea and all that. I think just an all-around review of my diet would benefit me in that aspect and many other ones.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So, so you're saying that you wanted to start as soon as possible.
Yes.
What does that look like for you throughout the week? Like,
as far as the changes I'll be making? Oh, okay.
or just when?
Or when?
Yeah, it's just for you to feel like have more control over your situation, like when you're going to start. So some people, for example, might say, okay, well, if they were talking about vegetables, I'm going to start eating a vegetable, carrots specifically, tomorrow for snack, and something like specific like that.
Right. Well, I know these numbers are, I mean, to me a little outrageous, but I was up to 3 Arizona teas a day.
Okay.
Prior to any of this you and I are doing, I've on my own cut down to 2 a day.
Okay. Good.
1 to 2 a day, I should say. I don't have 2 every day.
Okay.
So I am kind of already started on my own.
Okay. Good.
But the process can be sped up, probably. It'd probably be in my best interest to just try not to have any tomorrow.
Oh, whatever you're comfortable with.
Right.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do anything I'm uncomfortable with.
Right.
But it's really unnecessary, and I think it's, for lack of a better term, time to grow up a little bit and start drinking more water and less sugary kids drinks.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, that's the way you're feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, since you're very strongly about this and you're really wanting to cut back,
Right.
doing what you feel is necessary.
Right.
A good idea. Okay, and so let's move down to measurable. How much and how many? So we've already basically covered this.
Right.
You've already been working on this on your own, which is
Right.
really great. Something you feel passionate about, cutting down your sugar. So you said you've moved from, you were drinking about 3, you've already cut it down yourself to about 2 or 1, which is really great. Okay. And the next is achievable, so what's appropriate, so not making, I guess, unrealistic goals. Like if you can't cut it out completely right now, what you're doing is really great, slowly cutting it back.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay,
and so realistic is also baby steps. That kind of ties in with what we were just talking about. And then time limited, so when to start. I kind of brought this to specific, but time limited when to start. So.
I guess I've already started, but as far as cutting it out entirely, I don't know. I'm gonna buy one tomorrow and see how it goes, I guess.
Okay.
As I have it in my hand, as I drink it, just address it. Do I need this? Is this necessary to get me through my day, kind of thing,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. So what I'm hearing you say is that you've already been working on this. It's very important to you to start cutting back on your sugar. You have a 2-year-old son to worry about, and he's very important to you. You want to keep your health and not become pre-diabetic or even become diabetic because of how much sugar you're consuming. You feel that a good way to start doing this is to replace your Arizona teas with water and some of your donuts with a fruit instead in the mornings. And you are working on this, which is really great. You've already been aware and cutting back. You're just trying to make healthy decisions for yourself, which is really good. Okay. So, we have gone over something you're concerned about, which is your sugar intake, ways you're going to change that or work on that throughout the rest of the week, and just be more mindful of that. Is there anything else that you'd like to discuss today? Anything that we haven't gone over, or anything?
No, at this time I can't think of anything.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the session, and
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.